Hey there, friends. Come on in. Type in freedom now. It is Friday, February 20th, and we're going to talk about some breaking news involving the asylum work permit process. Type in freedom now as you're coming on board, and certainly let me know how you're feeling tonight. We're going to talk about news that I think maybe a lot of people are very concerned about, okay? Which is why I'm here still on this Friday night doing this live session with you. In this one, we're going to go through what was just proposed today, what it means, who it applies to, when it goes into effect. Should those of you who currently have a work permit through your asylum pending case be worried? What is really going on? And is this for real? Like, these are all of the questions and topics that I'm going to cover in tonight's live session. We're reachable at McBean Law Friends at 914-898-9488 for one-on-one consultations about your immigration problem. If you've heard about this change or the changes that are coming to the EAD work permit process for asylum seekers, type in, I saw this, I heard about it. I am curious about what this really means. I'd like to know if this is going to hurt me. Type in your questions. Let's get the chat lit up tonight during this live session. And I'm going to go right into it. So, share this live session with those who are watching on Facebook, those who are connected to your feed. Today, DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, published what they are calling a proposed rule, of course, to prioritize Americans' safety by strengthening screening of asylum seekers. This is their press release. I'll show you the actual proposed rule momentarily. What DHS is proposing to do under this new these rules, I should say, was basically summarized in this statement by one of their spokesperson. That spokesperson says, for too long, a fraudulent asylum claim has been an easy path to working in the United States, overwhelming our immigration system with meritless applications, said a DHS unknown spokesperson, because Tricia McLaughlin is out at DHS from what has recently been announced. The unknown spokesperson says, we are proposing an overhaul of the asylum system to enforce the rules and reduce the backlog we inherited from the prior administration. Aliens are not entitled to work while we process their asylum applications. The Trump administration is strengthening the vetting of asylum applicants and restoring integrity to the asylum and work authorization process. And then it goes on to talk about the fact that pending asylum applications are at an all-time or at a historic high, with 1.4 million pending applications at uscis. And then it says some more here about the fact that coming to the United States to work is the asylum system is being used, so to speak, as a way for individuals to come to the United States who only have an intention to work, and thereby it's creating this backlog system of frivolous, fraudulent, and meritless asylum claims. And to some extent, obviously, there are some bad actors out there, of course, or others out there who are using the asylum system, including attorneys, right, to make money, filing frivolous asylum cases so that individuals can get a work permit. So, this does go on. It's not like this is not a problem, but to take some of the bad apples and just broadly apply a policy to others who are genuinely seeking asylum in the United States, I think that's wrong. So here's the proposed rule. It's 220 pages, okay? 220 pages. The rule is called Employment Authorization Reform for Asylum Applicants. This is the reform. Now, thanks to AI. Well, thanks to AI, I have a great summary here that I'm going to take you guys through right now. Let's go into what does this mean. These are major changes that are proposed under this new rule. First of all, friends, it will extend the wait-in period. The wait-in period for those who are applying for the work permit, which is the initial EAD, okay, employment authorization document, would increase from 180 days to 365 calendar days from the date a completed asylum application is received. So they're looking to have folks wait almost a year before being able to submit a work permit application. That's tremendous. So it's from 180 days wait to 365 days to then submit this application. Then this is where it gets a little bit strange as well. They will pause. There will be a pause on EAD applications. USCIS would pause accepting the initial EAD application if their average processing time for affirmative asylum applications exceeds 180 days. DHS anticipates that an initial and potentially lengthy pause immediately following the rule's implementation due to current backlogs. So, in other words, friends, they're saying that they they have a backlog. And, you know, based on the backlog that they have, which by the way is kind of ludicrous because it's very easy they have a lot of information and facts on individuals. It's very easy for them to quickly make a decision on these work permit applications. There's not any need for a serious vetting here. They're saying that they already have a backlog and they're anticipating that there's going to be a wait when we start this. Once this new rule goes into effect, we're going to pause. And this sounds to me like an indefinite pause on accepting new or initial work permit applications due to the fact that if the average in processing time exceeds 180 days. So it's like to me, it's like they're creating the delay. They're creating it. It's kind of really obvious here. Then they're saying that there's going to be longer processing times. The regulatory requirement for USCIS to adjudicate initial EAD applications would be extended from 30 days to 180 days. And then there's mandatory biometrics for everyone who is applying for the work permit. They would seeking renewals. I should say seeking renewals. They're going to call you back in all the time, every time for biometrics. Then, then it gets even worse, friends. Applicants who entered or attempted to enter the U.S. illegally on or after the rule's effective date would generally be ineligible for a work permit, with limited exceptions. For example, individuals who expressed a fear, the type of fear that's necessary for asylum, express fear within 48 hours or showing good cause. So if you enter the United States illegally after this rule goes into effect, generally speaking, you will not be able to get a work permit except under limited circumstances. Furthermore, applicants who file for asylum more than 1 year after arriving in the United States are ineligible for a work permit unless an exception to the filing deadline is found. Then individuals who have a certain criminal record, EAD eligibility would be denied. Okay, would be denied if there is a reason to believe the applicant is subject to certain criminal bars of asylum. Um, I'm reading this in such a way that I'm giving you this is this is real reactions that I'm having here as I'm reading this because my mind is processing this at the same time and thinking about how these rules are going to really impact real people, people who will now have to face a much longer wait to even apply, and then others who will not be eligible at all to apply for a work permit, and how this policy can be used to that will effectively even hurt U.S. citizens if they have children who are U.S. citizens or a spouse. This can really hurt mixed status households. Then this proposed rule says that if an asylum application is denied by an asylum officer, the EAD would be terminated immediately unless the case has been referred to an immigration judge. And if the case is denied by an immigration judge, the work permit ends after 30 days unless a timely appeal is filed. Now, here are some key dates that you should be aware of if this is your subject, right? There are 1.4 million pending asylum applications at USCIS right now, should you even be worried about it. And for you're going to hear me say a little bit that you should not be worried. But for those who are planning to apply for asylum and then the work permit, this all of this will really impact you. So there's a 60-day comment period. The government is opening this up for the public to comment. Um, Now let's talk about how the effective date impacts real people. So for initial applications, changes to wait-in periods and processing times apply to applications filed on or after the final rule's effective date. Okay. Again, this will only impact primarily those who are filing the asylum application for the first time after the rules date, on or after the rules effective date. If you have a pending asylum application, you've already filed your application, and you haven't gotten answers yet from the government about your case. This rule says that initial EAD applications already pending as of the effective date will continue to be processed under the old 30-day requirement and the 180-day clock. So you're subject to the current or old rules, so to speak. If you currently have a work permit, individuals who have a work permit can keep it until it expires. Now, renewals, most new eligibility and biometrics requirements will apply to renewal applications filed after the effective date. So it will kick in for some people. These new rules will touch some people during the renewal phase. Okay, so this is a summary of these new proposed rules that the government has dropped on everybody on this Friday. All right. As I get more information and learn more, of course, I will incorporate some more information during upcoming live sessions. But for now, just know that if you already have a work permit, that this doesn't impact you. Okay, this is not going to impact you quite yet. It will touch you when you're going through a renewal process, unless there are some changes here that are made to this process. So, um, friends, do not lose heart. But yes, things have obviously gotten a lot worse with being able to have more peace of mind, even if you're going through a process like asylum. As you can see, they've touched refugees this week with their new policies that they're coming out with. Now you have asylum seekers, people who have an application pending, or people who plan to file for asylum. They're looking for different ways to touch asylum seekers, and they're going after the work permit, which they see as an incentive to come to the United States and work and apply. You apply for asylum, you get a work permit. That's just a known thing that's out there. And the the good ones are being caught up with, the bad apples out there, so to speak. And just hang in there, guys. Hang in there. S- Um, Things are a little challenging these days, but keep your focus, stay on the right track. Don't lose your mind, don't lose your sanity over this. It's definitely not worth it. Do not lose your health over this as well. I'll be back before you guys on Monday for my Freedom Now live show. This is just a brief video about what was dropped on us today. I'll talk to you on Monday about some other things, including some good news that are happening as well. So join me on Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern time for my Freedom Now show and Q&As. I'm going to get out of the office. We had a long, 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 long week. We have a lot going on, a lot of hard work that we're doing for our clients. So thank you so much for being with me. And friends, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.